All right, everybody, welcome to another episode of Why We Hunt. As we try to delve into the mystery of why we're compelled to hunt trophies and achievements and things of that nature. So, special guest today, probably a lot of you have used guides from them. We got Velvet on the call here. You want to introduce yourself a bit?
Sure. Hey guys, my name is Velvet. As he said, I am a trophy guide writer and a video creator, and I'm also an event director over on pst.org.
Yeah, so getting around that community there. So I think you would have some interesting takes because I mean you do videos, you've written guides and do events. So I'm thinking community is a pretty big part of it for you trophy hunting wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe we could talk about that a bit. But let's start with what got you into gaming. Like, what was your first system? What genres and stuff you like, and things of that.
Yeah. Well, I kind of lucked out in regards to gaming. I've mentioned it to like multiple people, but I come from a very gaming oriented family. My parents are both nerdy gamers. My siblings are all nerdy gamers. So ever since I was able to hold a controller, I was playing video games. So it's been a long time. But I started on the Atari and then the Nintendo and then Sega, Super Nintendo, all that stuff.
Yeah, so like right when consoles just came out and things like that. But you remember how older you were when you played your first game?
I don't. The earliest memory I have is when I was about, I want to say about 3.5, 4-ish, and it was with the Nintendo. But I know I played stuff before that. I just don't remember
it. Oh dang, man! I interviewed someone and they said they were like 4 or 6 or something. I think you beat them. Congrats. Yeah, it's probably like, oh, she's a month old. Let's put this controller in her hand and let her hit some buttons.
I mean, to be fair, the Atari is just the joystick with the buttons, so it's pretty easy for a kid to just kind of play around on.
Just move it around and probably die in asteroids in a couple seconds.
Yeah.
All right, so actually, that's really cool. So you were playing video games with your entire family. Do you still play with them?
We do, yeah. We are basically lifelong gamers. I'm pretty convinced if video games were as big of a thing when my parents were kids, they would have been like gaming for beyond generations now. So again, I just really lucked out in that regards. That I just come from a very, very gaming oriented family.
I think that's awesome. All right, so progress throughout the systems. Well, what's your favorite genre and favorite game?
My favorite genre is probably, I mean, indie's too broad. That's what I've learned recently, so I can't just be like indie. But I love puzzle games and sort of like simulation games and party games. Those are my go-tos.
Yeah, puzzle games. That I am a big fan of those. And I can see party if you play with your family and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so progressing through systems and stuff, what got you into trophies? Do you ever have like Xbox? Did you do achievements on that at all, or?
The only Xbox I owned was the original one, and I was in high school when we had it, so we were the family that hosted the Halo tournaments and everything, so that was basically what that system was for, was just playing with friends and the neighborhood and classmates and everything. And then I didn't own the original PlayStation, but I did have a PS2. It just didn't get a lot of love because that's basically the same time the Xbox was out, so Halo kind of took the front seat on that.
Yeah, that Halo box.
Yeah. But it was fun. I don't know. It was a lot of fun. And then I didn't have my own PS3, but my partner had one when we started dating. And I just remember sitting there at the computer and I heard the little ding, ding. And I was like, what is that sound? he explained that it was trophies, and I was like, "What is trophies? What are these? What is this noise coming from your systems?" I started kind of trophy hunting in about 2009-ish, but on his account, and then he just kind of decided that I was taking over his account and had to get my own. So I got my own.
You're earning too many trophies on my account. Make your own. I want to earn them myself.
Well, it was just, yeah. I don't know. I progressed through a lot of games for him, so I think he's happy about that. But yeah, I had to get my own. It was becoming much more of a thing that I kind of had to do my own on it.
Gotcha. So what got you into guide writing then?
I still am not 100% sure about that.
What was your first guide you ever wrote?
My first guide was The Price is Right Decades. Whole games out there.
I heard that one's a nightmare.
Yeah, no, it was, but I met a lot of cool people through it because the online trophies are such a pain in the butt that if you boost them, you kind of have to like the people that you're boosting with. Otherwise, it's just going to be even more horrible. But yeah, no, I just remember taking notes on all the prices, all the items, all the mini games and everything, and typed it all up and posted it. And I didn't even submit it for like a year, which is the worst part. Just I didn't know the rules to writing guides or anything. But yeah, that was it.
Oh, well, yeah, so I guess you must have been part of a community prior to writing guides then. That must have been the first step for you. You found some forums and...
Yeah, so I was a member on pst.org before I wrote that guide, but I was very quiet. I didn't really post a whole lot. If anything, it was just like, oh, I have a question about this.
Yeah, I think that's how most people start off on forums.
Yeah, like I wasn't very active in the slightest. And then once I started doing more guide writing is when I started kind of coming out of my shell a little bit there.
And then that progressed eventually to videos and...
Yeah, I kind of had to start doing videos. I was kind of mooching off of Bad Driver for the longest time. I found out that we were doing the same games and he would just post his video. So I was like, hey, I'll do a text guide if you want to do the video. And it kind of worked out in that sense. But eventually I did kind of have to decide to sort of make my own and help myself in that way.
Yeah, and you do, I mean, like you said, you like obscure indie stuff, so a lot of those things are not going to get guides anyway.
Right.
How'd you get involved in running the community events then? Was it just...
That was another luck of the draw. I'm still, again, I keep cashing in all my luck for these opportunities, but we had an event on the site back in 2015 and I met some really, really cool people that were on my team. And maybe about a year later or so, I was still trying to be pretty active in the community after that and trying to like stay involved and all that stuff. And then a random person on staff just recommended me for events and I was asked to join the team, and then I did, and yeah, it's been one of the greatest things I've ever done, so I'm pretty happy about it.
Did you have on your resume that you hosted Halo tournaments?
Oh, no, I didn't have to apply. So they kind of just like messaged me like, hey, are you interested? And I was like, yes,
yeah,
definitely.
I kind of figured that's more of how it went. But okay, so reasons you hunt trophies then. Let's get into that a little bit. Do you approach games differently knowing that there's trophies involved as opposed to when you used to do them? Now, you're probably also... Maybe we should separate this into categories here. Because, I mean, there's probably games you play that you're not writing guides for, right? Or is that not... You just don't have time to do that anymore?
Kind of. It's kind of progressed through the years. I remember... like even before trophies with the N64 and the Wii and like Mario Galaxy, Zelda, like all those games, even Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube. I remember wanting to go for 100% game completion. Like, oh, I got to finish this to 100%.
Yeah, it
So I've always
sounds like a common theme among us trophy hunters.
Yeah. So it's kind of, I had that mindset before I was introduced to trophies, and then trophies were just like, oh, we're going to reward you for doing that stuff. And it's like, oh, snap, like this is actually kind of cool. And I try to tell people, it's like if trophies were a thing for the Nintendo and Sega and all that stuff, and you were able to track your progress through those games on a profile, like it's kind of cool to see what you've done. You can't really do that without trophies. So, but gosh, I don't know. It's kind of a two-sided answer for it, because if I'm doing an event, then I will buy games based solely on the trophies, how easy they are, how long the game is, how quick I can get them, etc., etc. But nowadays, if I play a game, it's most likely because I'm writing a guide on it. So I do have to look at the trophies beforehand. I do try to play through the game once just for fun, just to like enjoy it and kind of get the story and the vibe and all that stuff, and then I get to work on it. But definitely nowadays, trophies and achievements are a pretty big factor in what games I play.
Would you say more so you buy games for the trophies as opposed to games that you would enjoy, just for fun?
Yes and no, I guess. I know last year I went pretty hard with the games and the guides, and I played a lot of stuff that I just really didn't enjoy. And I was like, well, I need to write a guide on this. I need to put something up for this. I need to cover this game. And then lately I've kind of taken a step back, just like, why don't I just cover games that I want to? Like, why do I have to do everything? Like, why can't I just play a fun game and then just do a little project on it? So lately I've been trying to not just play anything and everything, but kind of be a little picky about what I play.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate to that a lot too. Now prior to feeling this need, or maybe I shouldn't say need, but well, you said have to, so I'm going to use the term need. Prior to this need of, oh, I gotta do this, gotta write the guide and stuff like that, I'm guessing it was more of a casual thing that you were doing, like, oh, this game looks fun, let me write a guide, and not feeling like, oh, I gotta do all this, no one's gonna make a guide if I don't do this, or...
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. It's funny that you said that, because that's exactly what I was going to say. But as you said earlier, I play a lot of obscure indies that a lot of people haven't heard of. Like, usually my end of the year top 10 list are games that people are just like, what? Like, what is this game? I've never heard of this game. And it's like, exactly. So with trophy guides, it was my goal that if somebody saw a game in the store and was like, what is this game about? They're more likely to purchase the game if they see that there's a guide for it. So I kind of felt like...
You're helping out the indie dev there.
Kind of, yeah. Like, I'm covering their game so that if somebody does want to play it, they have something to reference versus just, there's nothing on this game, I don't know what it's about, pass. Like, I don't want anybody to pass on a game.
Yeah, I've kind of, I mean, I attempted briefly to do that, where I would stream some more indie titles and stuff. Didn't seem like there was much interest, but that was kind of in my mind, like, the reason for doing it, and I found it was like, or I thought it would be helpful, and that was like, it was like a positive thing, you know, spread the word of this, and that was the intent, at least. So I don't know if, I guess that's part of that motivation that you had too.
Yeah, just to give it some sort of, because, you know, human beings made these games. Like, people made these games. This is their work. This is their pride and joy that they're just putting out into the world. And it's kind of heartbreaking when people just pass it up because, like, oh, that looks stupid. Oh, that looks silly. Oh, that looks whatever. And it's just like, no, just give it a chance. Just give it a chance.
Yeah, and also you gotta start somewhere too, right? I mean, maybe it's their first game. and then 4 years later they go on to make the next I don't know, Cyberpunk 2077 or something.
Yeah. Like, it's fun to see them progress. Like, you can tell when it's somebody's first game and then their second and third. Like, Lilymo is the perfect example of this. They did Perils of Baking, and then Habroxia, and then recently Twin Breaker. And you can kind of, not even kind of, you can definitely see the progression through each game of him growing as a developer. And I really enjoy seeing that, because you don't really get that with the AAA. Like, you just see technological advancements.
Well, those companies are just so big too. It's kind of
yeah.
I'm sure that's part of it. Where it, like, the company would evolve, but the individuals, there's so many working on it that it's
hard to see the individual growth in those games.
Yeah, I mean, you just wouldn't see it at that point.
Yeah.
But sorry to circle back, but it was kind of in the back of my mind that I was gonna mention something on this, and before I forget, but where you were talking about the you did it casual, then you kind of felt like a need to do it. That definitely strikes chords with me, where because I got pretty trophy obsessed, you know, do the fastest plats, do all of them, and whatnot. And when it started off casual, when I wasn't trying for leaderboards or anything like that, it was a lot more enjoyable. It was a lot more fun.
Yeah.
And then it got to the point where it was just, I'll use the term, it was consuming me. At a point where it just felt like, oh man, these games came out, I have to do them. They're only 2 hours long. Everyone else at the top of the leaderboard's doing it, even though it's not a game type that I enjoy.
Yeah.
And then recently,
you kind of got overwhelmed.
Yeah. And then starting to draw lines and stuff, like set limits and things like that, definitely helped. And now, having experienced breaks from the trophies and things, and it's just like a completely different world.
Yeah.
When you get into that mindset of it's turning gaming into work, and work that you're not. I mean, even if you were getting paid a little bit, say you're getting paid a little bit doing it. I mean, is it worth the stress and the headache and the unfunnedness? In regards to that, so.
Yeah, I kind of went into a almost like a survival mode when I hit that point. Like last year, I know I said I'm on the events team on .org right now, but last year I was not. I did take about a year and some change off of events, and I was not on staff and not really involved with the site. And I kind of realized how much of a crutch I used the site for. Like, I could post my guides there, and they would just, here's the guides hosted on this site, and I didn't really have to do anything. But once I was out on my own, I was like, oh no, I gotta stay relevant. I gotta stay in people's
staying relevant. That's a good point too, because I mean, for the longest time I was thinking too, oh man, if I want people to find me or whatever, I gotta stay in the top of the leaderboard and all this, because people are only going to see.
Remain seen. Like, I want people to see, like, I'm still here, but that's not healthy. That's really not healthy.
No,
it is not a good way to approach it.
And we don't have to get too far into things if you don't want to. But I mean,
there was times. Fine. Like,
I was talking more like emotions and stuff. I mean, there was times I was like freaking depressed in all this.
Well, because it eats you alive. It really does. Like, when you put so much into something where it's not that you're not getting anything back, but you're just trying to like keep your head above water.
Well, also too, it's like the level of feedback you're getting. I mean, it seems like you think, man, if I just keep going a little bit more, something's gonna come out of it, or I'll just keep it up for a little bit.
Yeah.
But then it's just, you start realize, like, the level of like, what's it worth? I mean, I'm staying up later, sleeping less, and playing games I don't enjoy, and just not having fun for what? Yeah, like,
Yeah,
is it worth it? But
it's if you approach it the correct way, I think it is. But again, like I did it completely horribly when I finally got out on my own, and I've learned a lot since that time. I've learned how to have fun with it again, most importantly, because yeah, especially if you're working just hours upon hours and then just not getting anything for yourself out of it, let alone from the community, it's really hard to want to keep going.
yeah, I agree totally with that. I mean, I know yours is more guide writing and mine's more actually collecting the trophies, but I feel I definitely relate to that.
We're both in the same community. It counts. No matter what you're doing, it's the same community.
I guess you do got a point there. Okay, so let's see. Now I kind of lost my train of thought, like I always do in all these episodes. Um, so yeah, definitely. Community is a definite aspect of why we hunt for sure. How about we'll talk about, and I'm guessing I know the answers to these, but leaderboards. I'm guessing you don't care about, or do you? Did you care at a time?
Ish, kind of. I was actually telling somebody about this the other day. I kind of hit all my trophy related gaming goals and just didn't really care anymore. Like, I wanted to hit top 500 US, and I think top 250 now. I don't know. I sync my trophies maybe like once a month just to kind of check on it. But yeah, it doesn't bother me if I move up or down. I like where I am. I think it shows that I've just been doing this a really long time and have progressed in that sense. But I really don't care. There's so much drama involved with the leaderboards, and I'm just like, I already have enough drama in my life. I don't need any extra. You guys can have it. I'm good. I will
So
remove myself.
so much drama. But yeah, that was too. I mean, when I was hardcore obsessed about leaderboard climbing, and then I got to like 3 or 4 or whatever, and I was just there for years. It's just like, well, I mean, I lost the will to try to chase the people above me and all this. It's like, well, I'm there, so yeah,
Yeah.
we did that. It doesn't
I
seem
do
that
miss that though.
it
I
doesn't.
like a lot of people don't realize, especially if they're, I don't want to say a lot of people, but if you're not active within the trophy community, then you're really missing out on a lot of stuff because there's nothing more fun than seeing somebody you know above you and just being like, I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you, like, I'm gonna pass you. But eventually, you start to stop doing that because it becomes harder to pass the people in front of you, and then it just comes like a lot less fun. Okay.
Yeah, and then also too, when you reach your goals, it's kind of just like, well, we did that, and now that I'm there, it doesn't feel as impressive as I thought it
Yeah.
would be.
Oh man, I was telling Jenny about that actually. I was like, I met my goals and I thought I would feel a lot different about it, but I kind of just don't feel anything. Like it's the weirdest sensation.
I know it. I mean, not to parallel this to life stuff, but it kind of happens to me in life too. It's like the job that I have now. It was like my dream job, and then now it's like, well, I have it, and it's like it doesn't feel as impressive. I mean, I'm still very happy. I don't say like I don't want to say I'm not thankful for it and stuff, but it's like when you get there, it's like, well,
Now what?
okay. It just feels so normal now.
Yeah, no, exactly. It just feels normal. And I think it's partly because everybody likes to kind of talk up, like, make a goal for yourself and meet that goal. And it's going to be the greatest thing. Like, you did that. And it's like, yeah, I did, but it feels no different from yesterday. So, yay.
Well, yeah, and I think that it just goes to show that having goals is super important, and gives you something to work towards and things. Even if when you get older, I'm sure you're probably around my age at least, but when you become old like us, sorry to call you old, but
I called myself old yesterday when I couldn't even stay up till 9. So okay.
Us old geezers over here playing our trophy games. But yeah, it's just, I mean, when you're younger and stuff, you don't realize that. Um, I don't know. I guess it's just getting older, getting wiser, experiencing things.
I think it's more of you just don't notice it because you get the slow progression towards it, like you live it every day. It's kind of like losing weight. Like you can lose 200 pounds and just be like, oh, well,
Yeah, hopefully
that's a
you
little
don't.
dramatic.
Hopefully you
Let's say
don't
like
lose that.
20 pounds.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna say,
Let's
hopefully
say
you don't
20
lose
pounds.
that in one day, because that's probably losing a
No,
limb
no,
or
no.
two there.
But like if you lose 20 pounds, it's very less likely that you yourself will notice it because you see yourself every day. But somebody who hasn't seen you in like 2-3 weeks will be like, oh wow, you lost weight, and you're just like, what? I did? I'm like, all right, sure. Like you kind of don't have the same response to meeting those goals because you see it every day. You see the work you're doing, the progression, and then it's like you're kind of expecting it to happen, and then when it does, it's like, all right, that's done. It's like another little tick off the checklist.
Yeah, and then also too, like you're saying, slow and steady, a little over time is can do crazy things. Um, all right, so well, I guess maybe we should get off of the life tangents. But I think that was. I think that.
Preach all day.
Well, actually, I almost feel like that's more meaningful talking about that stuff than trophies.
What you're about to.
But I mean, it is kind of or getting away.
It is called Why We Hunt Trophies.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think those are important lessons. So people that listen to this, take something away, especially if you're younger. I feel like that invaluable knowledge there. But okay, so how about if I'm guessing trophies keep you playing only on PlayStation, but I don't know. Maybe you don't. Do you play other stuff?
No, I play other. Like I have a really good PC right now, so I've been enjoying actually being able to play games on PC. I don't play Xbox because the controller is too big for my hands, and I know that's such a girl thing to say.
I don't like the Xbox controller either.
I hate it. And then Nintendo, I do play on, but I have a Switch Lite, so I can't really record videos and stuff on it. I can record 30 seconds at a time, and that's it. And it's just like, oh, this is killing me.
Well, I mean, you could splice it all together. That would be
I try, but like I play Animal Crossing and all that stuff. Like it's good for like on the go gaming. I do enjoy it. So
yeah, I've been starting to play more Switch things and stuff too, just because I don't know, just playing stuff for fun, not having to worry about trophies, and there's a lot of stuff that's good on the Switch that you can't even play on PlayStation. Also, indie wise, it gets some really good indies that are not on PlayStation.
Because it's a lot easier to port your games to the Switch. Nintendo is very indie developer friendly, whereas Xbox and Xbox kind of doesn't count because that's like Microsoft, so they just do PC to Xbox. But PS4, out of all of them, I've heard is the absolute worst to port your games to. So Switch will usually get them first, and then they'll be moved over.
Cause yeah, I'm thinking things like Evergate. Oh man, did you ever play Evergate?
It's downloaded. I just haven't started it yet.
I think you would like that one. That game is awesome. But
I love the artwork of it, like the art style.
Oh, I think even the just how the puzzles are laid out. There's like, I don't want, maybe I shouldn't spoil it, but there's unlockables that give you other abilities if you collect things, so you can go about the levels different ways, and helps you get some of the in-game achievement collectible thingies, but anyways, but yeah, I mean, uh, I've I've enjoyed playing some stuff on the Switch. It's been a breath of fresh air for me as well. I mean,
Well,
now,
it's a good, yeah, it's good to step back from trophies every now and then and just remember, like, why we all started gaming is to just have fun.
yeah, and we just let it. Some of us let it get too far into our heads and all that. Um, okay, so yeah, I guess you wouldn't be writing guides for stuff where you're splicing together 30-second clips.
I do, actually.
Oh, you do?
I try to, yeah, if I can. Like, there's a couple of puzzle games out there where I can complete the level or just like pause it, save the video, continue, pause, save video, continue. I try to cover what I can if I can. Otherwise, I'll just do like a review on it. But I do enjoy trying to do things outside of PlayStation, even though that's my like main gig. It's to me healthy to like explore other avenues in that sense. So I do try to kind of branch out when possible.
Now, do you experience the same thing like me, where if I do PlayStation stuff, the audience is so much more like if I more there, I guess. Well, I mean, I stream and things, like when I was streaming trophies and stuff, and then when I stream non-trophy things, same with posting videos. If it's a Switch video, there's like nothing. If it's a PlayStation video, there's a lot of views. Well, a lot for me. I mean, it's not
Well,
a
I
lot.
think that's just because you come from a trophy community. So a lot of people know you. So a lot of your traffic is going to come from the trophy community because of that. And posting something outside of that is a kind of like an oddball for it. Just like, oh, this isn't a trophy game. What is this?
Well,
So it's different than what people are used to.
I guess my question is, do you experience that as well? Like, where it's just this huge, vast difference where the people that most people that know you are like PlayStation Way or the Highway. What's this Switch thing? I don't know how to Switch, so why do I care?
Well, I keep them separate. I don't mix and match my stuff. My Nintendo Switch, like,
well, it's all still on your same channel.
Yeah, it's under
right?
a different name. It's under a different channel.
Oh,
It's on a completely different site.
I didn't realize
Because
that.
I know that my audience on my main gig is not going to enjoy that. So the community that will is a separate community, and I can't mix and match that and have it work properly. So I try to keep them separate as possible.
Yeah, I guess I was trying to mix and match and failing miserably. So, oh yeah, I didn't know you had a separate channel.
Yeah, I try to keep it. It's kind of my like getaway. If I just want to go hide, I can just go work on like Switch games and stuff.
I like that. Maybe I'll take that advice too. But okay. So oh yeah, all right. Yeah, I didn't know that you played a diverse amount of systems. I kind of thought you were a diehard PlayStation person.
Yeah, no, the only one we don't have is the Xbox, and like my partner just has a like massive gaming PC, so he doesn't have a need for one. And again, I just don't like the feel of the controller, so we just don't really have a need for it. But we have just about everything else. I think close to everything else. I don't know if I'm missing anything.
All right. I don't know if you want to get into this topic or not, but how do you feel about? I mean, you being a big indie fan and stuff. Some of these trophy lists that get applied to the games that make you only play for like 10 minutes. Now, personally, well, first off, do you even want to go into this? We don't have to.
Yeah, no, I've been waiting for this, so
Okay.
I'm ready.
All right, so personally, what I feel is there's a lot of good games that people don't even give a chance to because they buy it purely to play it for 10 minutes, get the plat, and are just done. And they don't even experience it whatsoever, really. And it kind of bugs me because these games are like actually good if you play them. Or, for example, that Under the Ocean or whatever, what was that called? The way to get all the trophies, you just skip through the game and get it in 10 minutes. If you actually play the game, there's actually a game there and it's actually good. People are complaining, oh, this game's $15. Why? Because the game is actually decent and
Yeah.
but you're playing it for
so many opinions.
5 minutes. And then also, I saw one time on Twitter or somewhere, maybe it was a forum, but it kind of made me feel bad because there was a guide that was written for it and such, and then the developer messaged or posted or something and said, "So what do you think of the ending?" And then the person replied, "Well, I didn't finish the game because I got the plat." Or something along those lines, and I felt bad for the developer,
because they put all that work into it, and then for people to just not finish it. But we kind of did it to ourselves. Like, I have like 3 different thoughts. I'm gonna try like keeping them all so I don't lose them. I disagree with. Well, okay, that's a bad word. I really think if a game has a platinum, you should at least have to finish it. I feel like that should be the first requirement to your game actually getting a platinum, is that you have to complete the game
I agree
to
with
get
that.
it. That's fair to the gamers who paid for it and the developer who made it. Like, it's fair for the gaming community for the game to actually be finished.
And that's what it used to be. I mean, that's how the trophy list used to be set up. You would actually have to finish the game plus do extra stuff.
That's what people thought. Like, that's not what the standard was. That's just what people thought the standard was. And like, 2 parts on this. I know for a fact that if I love him to death. Radaleka is still like such a doll. He found a way to sell games to the trophy community, but he gives a lot of opportunities to indie developers who otherwise would not be able to publish their games. So for that, I'm just like, you know what? You can do whatever you want with trophies. Like, you're giving these people a chance to actually get their games out there. And he's not just doing it to PlayStation. He does it to PlayStation, Steam, Switch, Xbox. Like, he covers everything. So it's not like he's doing it just for the trophies, because that's nowhere near what the purpose of it is. But I remember, oh God, was it last year? I think it was last year. Still running, a developer came out with a game called The Walking Vegetables. I don't know if you remember hearing about that at all. Just a silly little twin stick shooter game.
I don't remember that one.
Yeah, it's a silly game, but I remember talking to them, and they were pretty bummed that they didn't put a platinum on it, because they didn't think they could apply for it. They thought it was something that was reserved for AAA games, for big games, for, you know, the Horizons, the God of Wars, the GTAs. Like, they didn't realize that they themselves could apply for a platinum. And they immediately said, like, we know our game isn't going to sell as well because it doesn't have one. And it's like, that really shouldn't be the case. Like, people should be willing to buy the game with or without a platinum. But that's what the trophy community does. If it doesn't have a platinum, the chances of people actually playing it diminishes greatly. So Radaleka kind of caught on that and slightly abusing the system. Like, I don't even know he can deny it, but, you know, it's there. Like, there's a little bit of abuse going on, but he knows that if he doesn't put a platinum on there, the games won't sell.
Well, also, I'm guessing if he makes it too hard and too long, because, I mean, if you go into users, like, if you go into profiles, you can see how many people played the game. These fast ones are like in the thousands. And then, even if something has a plat, even if it's like 4 hours, 5 hours at this point, maybe like 100 tops, maybe
Yeah,
more
but they're
like
also
10.
cross-buy. Like they used to be $4.99, and then he started matching Steam price, which is $9.99. I don't know if the VNs are all jumping up to $14.99. I think they might be staying at 10. But yeah, you get 2 games for a really low price, and you get 2 really easy platinums. But I really wish that people would have to finish the game for them. Like that's the only thing that I'm just like, just even when you get the platinum, just finish the game. Just go to the end. It's really good, I promise. Just try.
Well, yeah, like I was saying, some of these aren't even experienced at all. Like you don't even know what the game is or what it's about or anything.
Yeah, like can you imagine if what is the game called? The Audi game, 0000, the 4 zeros. If the platinum required you to beat all 100 levels, I think it has, how long that would take and how hard that would be, but how like
Rewarding.
yeah, how much more rewarding that platinum would be. I mean, granted, I still struggled at that game like no other, but I still did it in like half an hour, 40 minutes, so less than an hour's worth of struggle and got myself a platinum. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of mixed feelings about it, but I think the trophy community kind of did it to themselves. Like, I think we need to take a little bit of responsibility for the monsters that we have created in that sense.
Yeah, and now it's at the point too where it's just got to be faster and faster and faster. Because otherwise,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, like I think it was I want to say it was the developer for Strawberry Vinegar, and the name is escaping me, and I feel really bad. I'll have to look it up after this is done. But she was saying that because of Redalika, she was able to pay off all her business loans, her student loans, like all this stuff because the game just sold everywhere. And I was like, that's good. That's a really good thing to take away from this. And then you have the same people complaining that they paid $10 for the game when it can be done in 15 minutes. So it's like, okay, but you don't have to do it in 15 minutes.
You could actually read it, but yeah,
yeah,
that's
like you can
actually
actually experience it. It's okay.
that makes me super happy to hear all those business loans and stuff. That also makes me like feel really bad for bashing all these easy plats.
No, it's really easy to bash them, but I try to remind people in like the nicest way possible. Like for those who are listening to this and like don't know me, just know I don't mean this in any like ill regard, but trophies are not why people make video games. They are an afterthought. It's the developer wants to make a project and then brings it to the publisher, and they are the ones that decide what the trophies are. So it's not something that is even in the game development process, so to speak. Like sometimes it is, but it's usually not a forefront on that step in the game development process. So when people get mad, it's like, oh, you're making me pay X amount for a trophy that can be done in X amount of minutes. And it's like, okay, but that wasn't the point of the game. The point of the game was for you to play the story and experience the characters and like everything with it, but you're just focusing on the trophies. And of course you're going to be upset if you're doing that, but the games are usually worth what you pay for them. So
Yeah, because like what you're saying, I mean that's their work in life and stuff, and that's or their hobby, their passion, their creativity, and then also too like just paying off all your loans and stuff. I mean that's someone's life that turned around there.
yeah, that was them going from how am I going to get out of this to being able to actually get a footing on the next project, the next thing that they want to work on. They don't have to worry about digging themselves out of a hole because they're out. They're free to do the next thing. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a really beautiful thing when it happens. And I feel like, again, the trophy community, as lovely as we are, we can be pretty toxic when it comes to that kind of feedback. So, I mean, I love you guys to death, but we can be pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was I think some very good points on that matter there. All right. Well, I'm sure there's other big topics I normally cover in these. Let's see. You listen to some of these. You think of anything else or anything you want to add?
I don't even know, man. I feel like this went so much more different than I was expecting.
Same here. Same here. I was getting into a lot of routine with other people, but I guess we clashed and we made something spectacular. Well, we'll call it
Yeah.
that.
I just think we're pretty involved in the overall community, so it's like I don't look at trophy hunting as just like, oh, I'm just gonna earn some trophies and that's what it is. Like there's something a little bit more in it for myself at least, but I feel like it's the same for you.
Yeah, we're trophy veterans. We've been around the block for many a year.
Many a year. Yeah. We're the grandparents of the trophy community.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, cause yeah. Now you're calling me old too. All right. Well. Oh, you also stream too. Does that a little bit at least?
A little. Yeah. I've tried to start picking it up a little bit more. Contrary to this interview, I'm not really fond on using a mic on my streams unless I'm playing with other people because I feel really awkward and then I get inside my own head. So I try not to stream if I'm not really like feeling like talking.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. It's not really my cup of tea, but I do it because sometimes I can't always write a guide for the games that I get. And I do want to cover it in some way. Like I want to at least experience it, and I want other people to see the game if they happen to stop by.
Yeah, I like doing that too. I like just trying it out and like first time trying it out and being like, oh man, whoa, look at this, that's cool, and
yeah,
and then also too, like you said, just showing it to other people. Otherwise, they just wouldn't even know it exists.
Yeah, and it's like if a developer offers me a game, I for one have absolutely. I'm the worst with saying no to people. It's kind of a problem. So I do want to make like some sort of coverage in some way, shape, or form. And sometimes streaming does exactly what I need it to do for that. And then obviously, like I'll write something about it later on and all that good stuff. But it's really good for the developers. I mean, I'm not a big streamer. I don't even have like 50 followers, I don't think, so I'm still pretty itty bitty. But even just saving the videos and the VODs and stuff, like somebody can just search it, and just every little bit helps with PR with these smaller indie devs.
Everybody, if you're on Twitch, follow Velvet and get her to her 50 so she can get an affiliate.
No, it's okay. Again, streaming is not my gig, so.
All right. Well, all right. If you got nothing else to add, I guess we could kind of start wrapping up here. Yeah. So I guess community also a pretty big part of things. Guide writing, showing indies love, and yeah, I think you had some good points. We covered some good in-depth topics here, even not related to trophies. So
yeah, we got a little emotional.
Yeah. All right. So you got Twitters and YouTube channels and stuff you want to mention?
Yep, they're all the same. You can find me on Twitter, on YouTube, and on Twitch at 8BitsofVelvet, and that's 8, the number 8, not spelled out. And then if you're ever on PSN profiles, it's just Velvet, and PlayStationTrophies.org, of course, is just Velvet as well. So.
What's the Nintendo site? Unless you don't want.
Oh, nope.
You don't want to say it?
No, because that's where I get to hide. So.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I wasn't sure. But
if
I figured I'd give you.
Then you can join. But yeah, no, that's where I like to hide.
I figured I'd give you the opportunity if you wanted it. But yeah, I'll post any links you want in the description so you guys can just scroll instead of having to type. and because I know we're all lazy, right? And you can follow me on Twitter, Twitch, all that stuff. I'll put those links in the description as well. And with that being said, everybody have a good night, good morning, enjoy your games. Thanks for watching, and hopefully see you guys again next time. Goodbye, everybody.